That makes me think, not this time, but at a future pandas, maybe we can do a remote viewing uh session with our worldwide audience and see what happens. Why not?
Happens.
That's
That
a
would
good
be great.
idea.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
And it, we'll see, maybe we'll find something great.
Yeah.
Well, we could
Anyway,
do that now. We could also do it now.
no, but we're not really prepared for it. I mean,
Right, but that
so
might be the right time to do it.
but I think we're already like
Here,
40
here
minutes
comes
into
the
it.
CIA executives. You see,
Every once in a while I show up,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, I think it needs to be like advertised as such, and then we'll do it, and then
Okay, yeah, we'll make a thing out of it. Right, I
yeah.
always forget that. So, what is remote viewing? So that's what we've been talking about for this 40 minutes. So there's general psychic functioning. So that includes things like clairvoyance, getting information about the state of the world without necessarily reading someone's mind. Telepathy, which is essentially reading someone's mind. Precognition, which is the capacity to predict future events. And psychokinesis, which is the ability to change something in the world with just using your mind. Um, and no physical forces that we recognize yet. So those are kind of the big four. And remote viewing kind of combines them all into a protocol that's supposed to make things a little bit more technical. It was created by the military and parts of the intelligence community back in the late 70s and in a project that ended up ending in 1995 called Stargate at the very end, although it had a lot of different names. And it was sort of packaged in a way that I think brilliantly by Ingo Swann, the artist who created this packaging. He trained it and packaged it in a way that puts it into a real protocol. Like you write down this number and you do this thing, and then on this part of the page you do this, but on the other part of the page you do that, and you have a lot of energy. And the particular remote viewer we're talking about also does these kind of things. You have a lot of energy put into making these precise things so that the part of your brain that's worried about the executive function of this whole process can feel satisfied that it's really doing something. And what
I'm organizing something here. This is good.
exactly. This is good. I'm organizing this so that the intuitive part can go, okay, here's the information. So I kind of don't think it matters how you organize it as long as you believe that that's the way to do it and that's really going to work and that's going to, make it happen.
And it's used to find missing people, among other things.
Oh,
Now,
sorry. I should say now it is used quietly in every law enforcement division, including Department of Justice and in some like as some intelligence contractors will use it. And I don't think there's any sort of in government like paid employees who do it for their work, but there are probably people who do it as a hobby. I mean, it's a very widespread sort of technology and not a lot of talk about it from the side of any sort of organization that might be considered blighted if people knew that they used this, but use of it nonetheless.
So I'll put on my intelligence community national security hat. I should go find myself a hat that I just put
yeah,
on
It should be very silly if you do that.
as a signal for it. But all my good hats are in Virginia. Anyway, uh, the U.S. culture is a very young culture.
mhm.
I mean, we've got antecedent cultures: French, German, Italian, English, Irish,
Spanish.
Spanish, that are much older than ours. But all of those cultures went through the Reformation and then the Enlightenment, which I think had a significant, uh, I'm going to use the word scarring, but not necessarily. It kind of left marks on all those cultures. And now in the I hate it when people talk about national security only in terms of conflict. It drives me nuts. And I want to say to any young person listening here that if someone tells you that that's the only way we can talk about national security, they are wrong, and don't let them do that to you.
Mhm.
Okay, anyway, but all these cultures that are seem to be in opposition to the Eurocentric culture are all cultures that did, for the most part, did not go through the Enlightenment. They didn't go through a Reformation, which was like a tremendous challenge to their religious beliefs.
Mhm.
Therefore, did not do the Renaissance and didn't do the Enlightenment. So we got China, we got Russia, we got Iran, we got Korea.
All of Africa.
We can talk about many others. And so all those other cultures have deep understanding still of something other than a material world.
Mhm. Mhm.
Did you say
And
Russia? Russia's also in there.
yeah, Russia, I said
Yeah,
Russia. I
yeah.
mean, the Russian culture as a culture is such a magnificent culture. I mean, if you know anything about their religious tradition, their literary tradition, their artistic tradition, their mathematical tradition, I mean, they are just an incredibly
Philosophy,
rich
yeah.
philosophy, incredibly rich culture,
Mm.
which, you know, I can understand why so many Russians are so pissed that they are no longer considered worthy of a hearing. I get that. Anyway, sorry, stop the diatribe, Carmen. Yes. I, I just feel that we ignore the Eurocentric American culture. We're at great peril of dismissing all these truths that these other cultures know and intuit, and we go, that's just bullshit.
Right.
And at some point, that's going to hurt us.
It is hurting us.
It is hurting us in a way that we don't know. Like we can't see it because we have this block, right?
Which is a great weapon. You don't even know that there's a weapon. You say you're not defended against it. Are you kidding me?